They say families are complicated, but some families come with their own manual for dysfunction. This is the story of how one unwanted midlife surprise turned the tables on her neglectful, image-obsessed family with a touch of dramatic flair, a sprinkle of karma, and a whole lot of receipts. Literally, Deborah, the protagonist of this tale, wasn't just cast aside, she was erased. But don't worry, she got the last laugh, and oh, was it delicious! Deborah was born when her mother was 45 and her father was in his early 50s, an age more suitable for retirement plans than diaper duty. Her mom, a career-driven corporate queen who probably had meetings scheduled during labor, was not thrilled. She assumed early menopause until a baby belly made denial impossible. Instead of joy or even mild acceptance, Deborah's arrival was met with what can only be described as corporate-level disappointment. Her parents nicknamed her the midlife mistake, like it was a brand new designer handbag they'd regret buying. Deborah's older sister Jennifer, a whole 14 years her senior, was the golden child. She did not really register Deborah's existence except as a disturbance to her nostalgia. Family dynamics were basically a three-act play. Act 1, Jennifer walks on water. Act 2, Deborah walks on eggshells. Act 3, Rachel, the saintly aunt, walks into the picture and provides actual love and support. While her parents perfected the art of strategic apathy, Aunt Rachel became Deborah's safe space. From cheering her on through the NICU walls to hosting makeshift birthday parties with homemade cakes and construction paper streamers, Rachel did all the heavy lifting in the parenting department. Her house, modest and cozy, was a palace compared to the sterile museum Deborah called home. Meanwhile, Grandpa George, the sharp-witted patriarch with the patience of a monk and the wealth of a small nation, saw what was happening and began quietly setting things in motion. He opened a private bank account for Deborah, dropped cryptic comments like "just in case," and played the long game like a man who knew the finale was going to be spectacular. As Deborah grew older, her academic achievements went unnoticed. Her birthdays were celebrated more enthusiastically by her alarm clock than by her parents. Even her 10th birthday, a milestone in any child's life, was barely acknowledged unless you count the "oh crap, it's today" cake they panic ordered. But Aunt Rachel? She brought joy wrapped in glitter and baked with love. Deborah managed to keep it together, throwing herself into school and extracurriculars not for glory, but to escape her gloomy household. She stayed out of trouble, kept her grades up, and learned early that applause doesn't echo in empty homes. Then came the big reveal. A few months before college, just as Deborah was counting down the days to freedom, her parents summoned her with that overly excited tone usually reserved for surprise party planning. But instead of balloons, she got blindsided. "Jennifer is pregnant and moving in," they chirped. Deborah's room? Now a nursery. Her belongings? Packed away like a seasonal wardrobe. Their logic? "You are 18 now. Time to fly the nest," as if she'd been lounging there like a freeloading pigeon, not a daughter barely out of high school. Her belongings were in the garage like unwanted Christmas decorations. No mention of college send-offs or farewells. Just a casual eviction masked as a baby shower. But this was not just any teenage rebellion story. Grandpa George had a plan, and he was not playing checkers, he was playing high-stakes family chess. Deborah recorded the confrontation on a live-stream call with Grandpa George, capturing every jaw-dropping moment from the nursery makeover to the part where her dad physically shoved her out the door. Because if you are going to be treated like a reality show reject, you might as well have receipts. When she arrived tear-streaked and heartbroken at Aunt Rachel's door, the celebration began, not the birthday kind, but a new beginning. Rachel declared that this was now Deborah's home. Meanwhile, Grandpa George, casually sipping from his metaphorical tea, contacted his lawyers and said, "Let's get started." The wedding was the stage, the guests were the audience, and Grandpa, he was about to drop the mic. Despite not being invited, Deborah and Rachel walked into the reception like royalty with Grandpa's personal invitation. Jennifer, glowing in a designer gown, and her new husband, who looked like he'd just realized he joined a telenovela, were blissfully unaware of the storm brewing. When Grandpa stood up, no one suspected that the best man would be handing over the mic to a man about to detonate the whole room. He gave a calm yet blistering speech detailing the emotional eviction of Deborah, complete with clips from the live stream projected onto the reception screen. Because nothing says family values like kicking your child out on her birthday. You could practically hear the social fabric tearing. friends left. Business contacts cringed. Jennifer's mascara ran like the River Nile. And the piece de resistance? Grandpa announced that he was rewriting his will, leaving everything to Deborah and Rachel. Mom, Dad, and Jennifer were cut off like expired coupons. Dad's business partners walked out mid-meal. Mom's clients ghosted her faster than a bad Tinder date. The family's social standing, once meticulously maintained, unraveled like cheap knitting. And Jennifer's brand new husband, he stepped out for air and never came back. Rumor has it he's now looking into annulments and therapy. But wait, there's more. The courtroom showdown came next. Deborah and Rachel sued for guardianship and a restraining order. Mom and Dad showed up in their concerned parent cosplay, complete with humble outfits and a Bible, probably still had the price tag on it. They even brought character witnesses, all of whom seemed unaware there was video footage waiting to ruin their day. The court did not just rule in Deborah's favor, it metaphorically handed her a trophy. Rachel became her legal guardian. Her parents were ordered to repay over $200,000 in misuse support funds and were slapped with a restraining order that said, "Do not pass go, do not collect fake affection." Mom's career crumbled. Clients bailed. She went from corner office to cubicle. Dad, demoted, reduced to sharing desk space with interns. Their once luxurious life deflated like a poorly tied balloon animal. Jennifer, left by her husband, now lives in her childhood bedroom, her baby's crib, sitting in what was once Deborah's sanctuary. Oh, the irony. Meanwhile, Deborah bloomed. She and Rachel redecorated her room. Grandpa funded her college education. She chose psychology because if anyone understands family trauma, it's her. She began volunteering at a youth shelter, helping other teens find their way through their own dark forests. Her blog documenting her story gained traction, and messages poured in from others who had suffered similar fates. Her pain had a purpose now. Even when her parents tried to claw their way back, sending letters, lawyers, and even neighbors, they could not undo what had been done. Not when everything was documented. Not when their actions were played on loop across courtrooms, weddings, and the internet. In a final twist worthy of a Netflix finale, Deborah changed her legal identity, reclaiming not just her name but her power. Her life is not just on track, it's thriving. She has a real family in Rachel and Grandpa George, not one built on obligation or bloodlines, but on care, respect, and unconditional love. As for her parents, they are left with an empty nursery, a decimated reputation, and the realization that no amount of baby blue paint could cover up the damage they caused. Deborah's story isn't just about revenge, it's about rebirth. It's a lesson wrapped in justice, soaked in irony, and served with a side of poetic karma. Sometimes the family you're born into doesn't deserve you, and sometimes, with a little help, the universe sets things right. And that, my friends, is how karma showed up in heels, holding a latte, and dragged an entire family through poetic justice, while Deborah walked off into the sunset with a college scholarship, a real home, and the last laugh. If this roller coaster of family drama, sweet revenge, and ultimate glow-up had you cheering, crying, or texting your therapist, don't forget to smash that like and subscribe.